Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Medieval Reader. So I would like to thank all of you for subscribing. I just reached 100 subscribers, which is crazy that in a little over 2 months, I think, I've reached 100 subscribers. It took me over a year to get 100 followers on my blog, so I think that's really amazing, and I love this community. I love everyone who comments, people who subscribe, people who make videos, people who don't make videos. Just, if you've interacted with me at all, I am so grateful. Like, it's just been so wonderful. And to celebrate, I came up with an original tag. I'm actually kind of surprised that this tag doesn't already exist. We all read and we all have favorite quotes. So this is the Commonplace book tag. Commonplace books used to be published. They're basically quote books published by well-known authors. So John Milton, for example, had a Commonplace book. So for the tag, you choose 3 quotes that you really like, and you read the quote, and then talk about why you like it. It's very, very simple. So, here is my first quote. Is from Le Petit Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, which in English is The Little Prince. This is my favorite book of all time. I hope to someday make a detailed discussion video as to why it is, but this book is incredible. You have to read it multiple times. But here is the quote. I translated it from the French. Here is my secret. It is very simple. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. I love this quote because it reminds me of Pascal's famous quote from his Pensées, in French, Le cœur a ses raisons que la raison ne connaît point, which is the heart has its reasons that reason does not know anything about. A lot of this book talks about what is beyond sensory perception. I don't really want to spoil the story, but the little prince has a rose that he loves very much. And he leaves his rose because while he loves her, he also finds that she's kind of irritating and he wants to get away, and so he does, and he visits all these different planets, and he finally visits Earth, where he meets this fox. And this fox gives him this secret, that this secret will help him understand his relationship with his rose. There's also this platonic element in this quote. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. So like the forms, like the platonic forms that are invisible to the eye, but really contain the essence of the thing. And it has great importance to me because of my experience reading The Little Prince. As someone who was just learning how to read novels in French, this book was amazing. Actually, I don't think this one I've written anything in, but my original edition that I had, I highlighted almost every word, wrote on top of it translation. I was having so much difficulties reading it, but it was so enjoyable that I wanted to keep reading this book. And this quote, I'd remembered reading it in English, in an English translation years before, and not fully understanding it, but when I read it at 15, it really resonated with me. It helped explain my relationship with certain people in my life. It also helped me deal with death, a death that was in my family, so it was really an important quote for me. My second quote comes from this book, Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Incredible, incredible book, and I promise you the cetology chapters are absolutely the best chapters. And it's not really about whales. I mean, it is about whales, but it's also about humanity. This is one of my 3 favorite books of all time, probably my 2nd favorite after The Little Prince. So it's no surprise that one of my favorite quotes comes from it. O man, admire and model thyself after the whale. Do thou too remain warm among ice. Do thou too live in this world without being of it. Be cool at the equator. Keep thy blood fluid at the pole. Like the great dome of St. Peter's and like the great whale, retain, O man, in all seasons, a temperature of thine own. So as you can see here, the whale is a metaphor for humanity. Remain warm among ice. I really want that on a t-shirt, like a Moby Dick t-shirt says, right under the whale, remain warm among ice. I just love the stoic philosophy in this quote. for your blood to be fluid at the pole, to keep warm among ice, despite everything that goes on around you, to be able to hold your own, to not compromise. I just think that that's an amazing quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. Sometimes our favorite quotes are not ones we entirely agree with, but they're ones that are thought-provoking. And this is the quote from Praise of Folly by Erasmus of Rotterdam. He was a late 15th and early 16th century Renaissance humanist. You've probably heard of him. And Praise of Folly is his most famous satire, but actually it's not his best. I think his colloquies that he wrote at the end of his life are much better. But basically, this satire is written in the style of Lucian, who was a Latin satirist in ancient Rome. And Erasmus was following his style in writing this critique of the church in his day, and also just wider society, but mostly the Catholic Church. And for the most part, he keeps Folly's voice, so it's told from the perspective of Folly. But it dips a bit in the middle, and I kind of wish that he'd sustained Folly's voice throughout, but still, this is a great satire, and this is the quote from it. Folly is the one who's speaking. "Nothing is so foolish as mistimed wisdom, and nothing less sensible than misplaced sense. A man's conduct is misplaced if he doesn't adapt himself to things as they are. Has no eye for the main chance, won't even remember that convivial maxim, drink or depart, and asks for the play to stop being a play. On the other hand, it's a true sign of prudence not to want wisdom which extends beyond your share as an ordinary mortal, to be willing to overlook things along with the rest of the world, and to wear your illusions with a good grace. People say that this is really a sign of folly, and I'm not setting out to deny it, so long as they'll admit on their side that this is the way to play the comedy of life." I love this quote, first because it reminds me of Shakespeare's famous quote, "The world is a play and all the men and women merely players in it." But also because I think about this all the time, how much foolishness there is in life, but also how necessary this foolishness is. If we were 100% honest with each other and tried to expose everything for what it really is, would we even be able to survive? We talk about politicians lying to us, and they do, but we almost want the politicians to lie to us. We wouldn't want a politician to just say things as they are, or to be completely pessimistic. We wouldn't want that. While we want things to change, we also have to see that in a way, there is something foolish about life. We all put on these different hats. We all play these different roles that we weren't born with. We're all born naked, we don't really play any roles, and we have to play and act our parts, and sometimes we have to wear our illusions with a good grace, knowing that, yes, these are illusions, but they're also illusions that mean something in life. I don't know, I kind of find all of this a bit depressing. It is Folly speaking after all, so she might not be entirely right. But there's something about what she says that really feels true. This particularly resonated with me because I studied late medieval performance, and it's all about performance of language, the way we speak. Erasmus tried to perform with his language. He wasn't entirely successful. So there's kind of this balance to be had between trying to expose the truth, but then also not wanting to hurt people. If we tell the truth, doesn't it sometimes hurt people? Is it necessary to always tell the truth? These are the kind of questions that this quote really makes me think about, and that's why I really love this quote. So that's it. That's the tag. So I will tag 10 people. I could tag so many more people, but here are the people I am tagging. These are people who read widely, so I wanted to see what they like as quotes. Crystal at Biblio Atlas, Ernestly Eston, Lukash at Lukash's Books, Jess at the Garden Scriptorium, Steve Donahue, of course, Adam at Memento Mori, Richardson Reads, Just One Reader, For the Love of Classics, and Yamini at the Skeptical Reader. So, if you want to do this tag, if you have a blog and you want to do it on your blog, you can link it below. If you just are someone who comments, there are people who comment consistently on my channel. You can make a comment responding to this tag. Anything is fine. I'm really interested in knowing what you guys think. And thank you, everybody, for subscribing, viewing, following, anything. Bye now.